Hello and welcome back to another episode of It's the Vibe podcast. I hope you are well. I'm throwing things around. Good way to start. Now I will preface this episode by saying if you're watching any of the reels that get chopped up from these episodes or on YouTube, I apologize in advance for the state of my face. I was up the river for the long weekend, and you would think that after what I went through last time, my lip getting so badly burnt that it blistered, that I would never do that again. I'm a fairly intelligent person. I keep myself alive. I own property. I can pay my mortgage. I can typically feed myself most days. But for some reason, I thought that it was not, super important to put sunscreen on my lips. So now they are blistered beyond belief, and this is just what I look like right now. So if I look like I'm smiling, I'm probably trying to, but it's like if I smile any bigger, my lip is going to rip apart. So we're working with it today because, as you will find out in this episode, I'm talking all about self-integrity and the non-negotiables that are the things I want to do in my life that are going to happen, rain, hail, shine, or blistered lip. So here we are. So just talking about the weekend. So it was Oz Day long weekend here. Last weekend just gone. So I was at the river with some of my favorite humans in this world and my goddaughter, just creating beautiful memories and having the most fun ever. It was a really, really special weekend to get my goddaughter on the boat for the first time, and her cruising around on the jet ski and her basically losing her banana if she wasn't on the jet ski. And it was awesome just to be around everybody and having lots of fun. So that was amazing. But today I'm talking about why I'm celebrating restarting 75 hard. So if you follow my page, you will know that I have been, since the 1st of January this year, I've been doing 75 hard. So if you're not sure what 75 hard is for 75 days straight, so no rest days, you need to do 2 workouts a day for minimum 45 minutes each, and one has to be outdoors. You have to take a progress picture. You have to read 10 pages of a self-development book. You have to drink a gallon of water, or for us Aussies, that's 4 liters of water. You need to follow a diet, and there are no cheat meals and no alcohol. So if you haven't heard of this, it's trending like on and off. And I find like New Year's, it will start trending again because, we make New Year's resolutions. But Andy Frisella is behind, he created the 75 Hard program basically. And when I had a look as to like why he created it, and it was really more about building skills like determination, self-esteem, confidence, and discipline. So it's less about obviously building muscle or losing weight or, about exercising in general, even though obviously that's a beautiful byproduct of it. It really is, our ability to be able to create that discipline, create that routine, create that consistency in our lives, and being able to, tick off things. And also entering something like 75 hard where you have no, also like cheat days or like rest days or whatever, because it's not exactly how I like to refer to them. But basically it's just as intense for your body as it is for your brain. And that's what I really loved about 75 hard in particular, and what sort of attracted me to it. Like, one, I love a good mental challenge for myself, and it's something that I have done, especially probably from the middle of last year to now. I've really focused on my mental strength. So I really wanted to start this because I wanted to give myself an incentive to get back into routine, and which may sound counterproductive now that I'm saying this out loud. That is it's an incentive to get back into routine and to get structure into my life. So I already walk every day, and I'm semi-regular. I was semi-regular at the gym. But the thing missing for me was more like, do you know what? I didn't do that today, so I'll just do it tomorrow. And then I probably wouldn't have done it tomorrow. And then I would likely say the same thing to myself tomorrow. Like, I'll just do it. So, diet starts on Monday, all those kind of vibes. Now, I've attempted it several times before. And I want to say several, it's probably like 3 times before. And I have never got any further than 2 weeks in. And then I gave up. And it was a really unhealthy cycle at the end where I felt like I was almost punishing myself. And then I went on a big eating binge, and, it spiraled down and it all went to shit. So every time, it's always been about food as well. It's always been food that's been my big issue. Everything else was fine. Like, I love going to the gym. And, if I really made it a priority, it's easy for me to do it every single day. I drink a gallon of water before like midday. So that part was easy. But the food part for me was always my biggest mental battle. So for completely unrelated reasons, and just because I was so sick of being like, I don't know, a victim, not a victim, that's not the right word either. But I was always at the mercy of my of how I felt in terms of like if I was hungry or if I was this, if I was that, that would determine a lot in my life. So I wanted to stop that cycle. So I started repairing my relationship with food. And that is where I have seen this transformation occur literally before my eyes during this round of 75 hard. Okay, so to say that it's been unbelievably amazing that I have been able to heal my relationship with food is so much so that I can go to a cafe for dinner and be completely okay, just sitting there, sipping on my water, watching everybody eat, because I know that I've already eaten my meals for the day. So like literally the old version of me would have ordered the fucking whole menu and then made myself like feel like an absolute piece of shit for the fact that I did that, and then the cycle would literally repeat, and it would be an awful spiral mentally and physically for the rest of the time. And then I wouldn't start again, and then I'd be like, what, diet's last Monday, I would go absolutely ham over the weekend. I feel like shit Mondays, like you get it, right? So this time coming into 75 hard, I was armed. Like I had the bloody armor of a Mulan warrior, right? With my solid mindset. And I knew that previously my biggest challenge was eating, which I had I've come so far in, and I was like, it's absolutely going to be fine. And to be honest, I coasted for the first few weeks, right? Training was awesome. Eating was fine. I was loving reading and actually finishing books. Like, I struggle to count. No, I don't struggle to. I choose not to count the amount of books that I have started and not finished in my freaking bookcase. So finishing books, and my body was noticeably changing as well, which was amazing. So where I came undone was this weekend. And going in, I knew it was going to be tougher because I wouldn't have my routine to rely on, and this was going to take a real conscious effort to get all the things done I needed to. And it was also going to take me away from everybody doing all of the things that they were doing, because I would have, go to the gym, or I would have to, go to bed earlier to make sure that I got my reading done, and, all those sorts of things. And so I was, I guess, armed with that knowledge as well. So I was like, you know what, I pre-planned out all of the meals I wanted. My partner even did a shop for me before I got there, so I had my salad to have on the Thursday night when I got there. So I felt in a really good headspace in terms of being prepared as I possibly could, mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually, the whole lot. And it was more than just the 75 hard bits and pieces. It's around the other things that I do, like my morning routine, making sure I'm doing content on my socials, and also like my Meg's night as well. That's a really key part to my new wind down routine, which has been amazing for my brain as well. So all the things that I'm able to do at home, quite simply, I knew were going to be a little bit trickier coming into this round, but that's fine, right? I was prepped, I was bloody ready. And Friday was absolutely fine. Everyone came up on Friday and I did everything that I needed to before they got there. And except for my second workout and my reading. So I knew I was going to do my second workout after we got back from the river. So that was absolutely fine. So, and also I always read my book before I go to bed. So no problems at all. I was going to do that before I went to sleep. I knew also not drinking that I was going to go to sleep considerably easier than considerably earlier than everybody else. So it was absolutely no problems. We went out all day in the boat, came back, everyone made their dinner. I had my salad, I was good. And yeah, I'm not good in terms of mentally, I was absolutely fine. I was happy to sit with everybody, eat my salad, do my thing, no problems whatsoever. And then I even got my walking clothes on, and I was like, yep, I'm committed, I'm determined. And I went for my 45-minute walk, did that, came back, good to go. All I had to do was read. And I went to bed earlier, and so my goddaughter, she's 18 months old, she ended up sleeping next to me. She was a little bit restless, right? She's a baby, being in new places. So we laid down together, and I was trying to get her back to sleep. So that was all fine. And I was like, as soon as she fell asleep, I was going to read my book, because absolutely no problem. So we're laying down there and I could feel myself starting to doze, and I was just like, holy shit, what am I going to do? I feel myself dozing. I was like, no, I've got this. Got her to sleep. Absolutely fine. And then I popped her back in her cot. She was fine. I laid down, and I swear, I don't even remember falling asleep, which is so unusual for me. I was out like a freaking light, and I didn't get my reading done. When I realized that the next morning, when I woke up, I thought to myself, that was really annoying. Like I left, everybody at home and everyone, was getting into the night to do my second workout and do all of the things. And then I thought to myself, you know what? I wanted external accountability for this, but it was more about the internal accountability. So I was just talking to everybody in the morning about it all, and they were just like, just read 20 pages tonight. Just don't worry about it. At least you've got everything else done. And the old version of me would have taken that and either ticked it off and been like, yep, no, I'll just read 20 pages tonight. I'll tick it off for yesterday. Or I would have beaten myself up so badly about it with, how I didn't do what I said I was going to do, and I'm this and I'm that, and all these stories I used to tell myself and I used to believe to be absolutely true. Gone on a food binge, I would have drank, I would have ate, I would have been disgusting on the shame spiral. But this version of me, with completely updated beliefs that do actually serve me, was, able to observe the situation completely objectively. Okay, so I was more an observer. I was like, okay, so you didn't cave and just eat and drink because you couldn't say no. It wasn't even a conscious decision. I just fell asleep. Okay. So I decided, actually, this was a reframe from my coach. I was absolutely fine in the mindset of, you know what, like I'm going to start again. Like this is what I've done or whatever. Like I wasn't beating myself up. But the way that she reframed it for me, she really should celebrate the fuck out of the fact that you're more than happy just to jump back on. Like you're good to go again, and celebrate, one, how far you've come, but two, how you didn't cave into what you particularly would before. It was nothing. So I am celebrating that. I'm celebrating how far I've come in my food mindset, and how self-integrity is something that I am leaning into more and more lately. And it's become an absolute non-negotiable in my life. And so I'm simply picking myself up and we're starting it. So I got to day 27. And one, I've already gotten further than I ever had before. And I feel like I've already gotten so much, and not exactly what I've needed from it, but I feel like I've gotten a lot from it. But I do love me a good list to tick off and a challenge. So, with how empowered I feel from what I've been able to achieve, I'm excited to go again and see what I can continue to learn about myself and what other muscles I can strengthen outside of just my core muscles from Reformer Pilates. Because oh God, if you know, it's like something else. And I've been training really, really hard because I've been eating really well as more of, and not a build phase, but I've been eating protein enough so I can kind of like cut down my calories, but make sure that like my bum's growing and all of the things that I'm trying to achieve, right? So the point of this whole thing is I'm learning more and more about how my way of becoming unstoppable in my life is to do the things that I say I'm going to do and to rely on myself without question. So the old version of me with the outdated beliefs, with the outdated everything, would basically put my future self in such a shit position that my future self would have to carry all of the bullshit that my past version, which is like, you know what, that's for the future, that's for them to deal with, that's to do. That's just not how it works. The diet starts on Monday thing, I have changed my opinion on this quite extremely, I will say, because before I was like, you know what, I can get out what I need to get out of my system, and then I'll start afresh on this day in particular. But then this day comes around and the things that you told yourself previously, they're not going to go away. They're still going to be there. They're not all of a sudden going to fall out of your head and, be like, you know what, that's not a problem because I'm starting on a Monday. Monday is the same fucking day as Sunday, which is the same day as Saturday, which is the same day as Friday. So when you think of it less of like the day of the week and more so the quicker you start to implement these things, like yes, new change is always hard. And my journey that I have gone on with my food relationship has not been a fucking easy one. It's been really, really hard. And I've had to really dig into and understand why I viewed, and I want to say and this is a really, really broad way of explaining it, but quote unquote, healthy food as healthy or as good, and, junk food as bad, as opposed to food just being food. And it just is what it is. And I really do, I want to dive quite deep, like a lot deeper into this, because I feel like, with things coming out like intermittent fasting and how that's been pivotal in how I have been managing my endometriosis a lot better, and same with my Crohn's disease actually, and also more so around, I guess, undiet culturing myself. well, I will touch on this really, really quickly, but I will deep dive into another episode. So I came from a generation of, we had the Clios and we have the Cosmo magazines, right? Where you see these perfectly airbrushed women, and the standard that has been set for so long was, you know, the Victoria's Secret models, and you had to look like this, you had to look like that. And because I am like 6 foot tall, I have very wide hips, and I, you know, was never like, I just felt like it was impossible to live up to. And that's the body sort of side of things. I was always a fit kid. I always played netball or some sport, so I could literally eat whatever the hell I wanted and it wouldn't have been an issue. I didn't gain weight. But then obviously coming into, you know, I guess your early adult years, when you kind of go out to the world and start to fend for yourself in terms of cooking. Now I fucking hate cooking, and I've probably said that more times than I can count. I do not enjoy the process of cooking. So I immediately in my head, I'm like, okay, well, I don't want to do that. I want to go out and I want to eat. And because I was so bad with preparation, when I would go and eat, I would eat shit because I'd be so hungry. I would literally inhale so much food, and then I'd feel like shit after. And then I'd be like, I have to, like, you know, have dessert now as well. And it was like, it was almost like an unconscious thing that was kept happening. It was just like a habit. That was just what I did. And so I have, like, you name it, I've bloody tried every diet over the years. And it's all for the fact that I wanted to, like, you know, live up to that expectation that I had set myself as a teen, I suppose. And it's only been recently when it's been like probably 2 big shifts. And one has been being with somebody that is, you know, completely accepting of you and loves you. And, you know, I guess, again, that's external validation to a point, but just, I guess, reaffirms how you want to feel about yourself. Like, that is really amazing, because we can go and we can do all of these things in hopes of either getting somebody else's attention or for doing them for other things. But typically then when we lose that thing that we're chasing, or like we're not talking to that boy anymore, so, you know, we're not doing it for him, or, you know, one thing went wrong, so like fuck everything. It's just, if you can build that repetition muscle doing things externally, you just have to map across and start doing it for yourself internally. It gets to be that easy, which is fun, because I have complicated this fucking process for my whole life. So it was really critical for me, especially coming into like this new version of what my relationship was with food, that I made it so simple and so easy that I have, you know, it's almost like I don't have to think about it, which I don't now as well, which is awesome. So also with that, it's like when you do, you know, when you see things that are low fat and they're, you know, low this and they're low that, when I came to understand what whole foods were, and actually it's less about calories in and calories out, it's about the nutrients that you're obviously sustaining your body with. And I expect a fucking lot from my body. I have 2 chronic illnesses that I manage. I work a shit ton of hours every single week. I expect a lot, especially now that I am adding 2 workouts a day instead of just 1 into that mix as well. So my whole thing was about fueling my body so that my brain could perform at its best. And then physically I was able to lift really, really heavily and, you know, get the most out of my gym workouts as well, because I do have some, you know, pretty awesome body goals, which I love that I've got now as well, because I really embrace my shape. And I literally will do nothing other than like talk about how big I want to grow my bum. And if you had have said that to me 10 years ago, that would have been one of my goals, I would have been like, yeah, I don't think that's entirely true. So it's amazing. And so I completely lost track of what I was actually talking about there. I went on a huge big tangent, but here we go. So when you can learn to rely on yourself without question, okay, and not on your future self, like on your present self, okay, that's where the game has changed for me. So day 1 of 75 hard, around a 2, kicks off the same day as this podcast goes live. So if you want to follow along, come on over. If you're interested in finding out more about it, it's literally all of the resources are free. Everything he gives you on the website for free. I got the app, I think it was like $8. So, but then you can go tick off, you can see all the things, but you know, you definitely don't have to do that, get the app to do it. And yeah, I'm really super excited to see the other changes that I guess come into my life because of my continued improvement in terms of self-integrity and also discipline, because I really value discipline so much these days, because I used to have such a negative relationship with that word, because it was like, oh, like I have to do this, I have to do that, whatever. it's like, you know what? It's so cool that now I am able to do these things and I get to do these things instead of like I have to do them. One, because I want to see what I can do with my body. I want to see what changes I can make, how I can continue to improve myself physically and mentally. Because I feel like navigating my chronic illnesses like I've kind of had to has kind of not to say stopped me, but kind of slowed me down in learning about naturally what I can do, because I've always opted for the quick fix to fix the symptoms as opposed to the root causes. So I've always opted for whatever medications I can take. I've opted for the surgeries. I've opted for that because it's like that instant win effectively. Like I either get rid of the pain immediately or, after surgery, I'll feel, better in a couple of weeks time, recovery, whatever. But I really am now all about the long-term game, and I'm really all about seeing what I can do with my body naturally, and I am so thrilled with the results so far, so I'm excited to continue to see how I can go. So I hope whatever goals you've set for yourself in 2024 are going well and you're absolutely smashing it. Don't forget to reach out if you ever need support to a friend or family member or trusted whoever. And yeah, because it is hard sometimes when you go through these journeys and we can sometimes feel like we're alone. But we've also always got people around us we can reach out to. So I love you so much, and I will see you in the next episode.